Face Reality and Gut Talk, they have very similar followings because Jenna started posting about Face Reality. We've had very long skin journeys, specifically Jenna, and she posted about going on Face Reality products, and our DMs lit up.
Blew up.
I've never seen anything before. It was almost as if they were paid too. I felt like I had paid actors in our DMs. Yes. Yeah. We were so excited when we found out that we were going to have you on the pod because there were so many questions that came in, not only from our followers and who was in our DMs, but from ourselves. Because there's so many products, there's so much to it, and you guys are really doing something different, which is super exciting. So before we get into it, can you just tell everyone a little bit about your background and how you became involved in Face Reality and what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really long story that I'll definitely condense for you and your listeners. So I started in this industry a really long time ago. I went to college, no idea what I wanted to do, struggled with really debilitating, horrible acne. So I was seeing an esthetician at the time and getting clear, which was fantastic, and just decided that it was my passion. I really loved taking care of my skin. My favorite part of my day was going home, washing my face, doing my treatments, because that was really my happy place. So I became an esthetician, started working in a little bit more of a spa setting, but had still back and forth struggled with acne, and funnily enough had gotten familiar with Face Reality 20 years ago in its inception. So the founder of Face Reality and actually my first ever boss out of aesthetic school were friends. They went to esthetician school together and they both opened acne clinics. So Laura opened Face Reality Acne Clinic and Pamela Swartz opened her acne clinic. So they were like ST besties. And so I knew of the brand forever. And then I went into education and it just evolved. I had a very, very diverse background in aesthetics. I was in skin and wellness. I also worked in medical aesthetics. And then when this job with Face Reality came about, it was just the perfect fit. I actually wasn't looking for a job at all. I was very happy with what I was doing, but it was such a perfect situation for me for where I was. Like I said, I always struggled with acne. And then my clientele, I believe that people find you, right? Your tribe finds you. And so I really became a specialist and known in the industry for this much more clinical approach to acne clearing, and started with Face Reality, and the rest has been history. It's just been a truly match made in heaven.
I love that.
Yeah.
We were talking to you just for a few minutes before the podcast got started, and it's so clear you love what you do.
I love what I do.
People are just happier when they're doing what they love every single
100%.
day, and you radiate that.
Absolutely. I always say love what you do, love who you do it for, and love who you do it with. And it is it's like I hit the jackpot, seriously.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Well, and it's very mission driven, right? So we do this very important work, and being with a group of people who are so mission driven for the same reasons we really exist to make clear skin possible. And having experienced acne, how debilitating it can be. So doing that work, it just makes you feel so good about what you do.
You're talking about being mission driven. You guys have a very specific philosophy when it comes to acne. Yeah. What is that mission?
I mean, you want our tagline? It's clear skin for good, right?
Okay.
So clear skin for good. We exist to make clear skin possible for as many people as we can through whatever means necessary. So a lot of companies have great products, but they don't have a specific system for acne clearing. And I think that's what our differentiators are. We don't have this sort of blanketed approach to acne clearing, because your acne is going to look different than my acne versus your best friend's acne. So I think that, when you look at us, what makes us very, very unique is that we look at this whole human approach to acne versus just kind of a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
How would you describe Face Reality for anyone who's never heard of the brand? Because when you go on the website, to me, it's very specific and it's very targeted, but describe it to someone who's never heard of Face Reality before?
Yeah, I think to say that we are an acne-focused brand. So you don't have to have acne to use our products, but we intentionally customize all of our products and formulate all of our products with no acne-aggravating ingredients. And then what we have is this method. We call it our clear skin method. And so it is a specific system to clear people's acne. So if you just went onto our website, it would be very obvious that we are an acne clearing solution, but we do have, like I always say, we are a price point accessible brand. Anybody can use us, especially the younger generation who wants effective clinical skincare, but they might still be struggling with either situational breakouts or breakouts. We're a great option for them.
We told you how excited everyone was. I mean, I'm extremely excited. And I've tried a lot of products, a lot of different things. I've probably spent thousands on my skin in the past couple of years trying to fix it. What I'm trying to understand, I think a lot of people listening to this, is you guys are totally mission driven, but how do you guys differentiate yourself from other skincare brands or people in the market?
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good question. I think that a lot of brands have, like I said a minute ago, I think when we were talking out in front, a much more blanketed approach to acne clearing. So where, let's take, some of the main professional brands out there. Acne is one aspect of what they do, but that's just one element. It's anti-aging and it's pigmentation, it's all of those things. Acne is all we do. Now, granted, we have solutions for pigmentation and anti-aging and these things, but we are an acne brand. So right then and there, that is a clear differentiator. And we also we're not a one-stop shop. So we really don't look at your acne and say, well, what works for you is going to work for your sister or what's going to work for me. Because I say this all the time, look, 16-year-old acne on a lighter complected individual is going to look real different than 60-year-old acne on a darker skinned individual. So to just have your 4 products for acne clearing and expect that it's going to work for everyone, it just doesn't. You need to take into consideration so many different factors when you're looking at someone's acne clearing journey.
What is the clear skin method step by step?
Sure, absolutely. So it's really this, to simplify it, it's this 3-pronged approach. So it's professional treatment, so in-office professional treatments. Now, those aren't necessary, but we have found that definitely facilitates the clearing journey. Also, lifestyle modifications and recommendations, and then obviously customized home care routines. So think of it as this 3-pillar, right? We're doing the external with the products, we're doing the internal, with, if necessary, with dietary modifications or lifestyle modifications, and then in-office treatments. And the reason that in-office treatments are so important is because of comedonal acne. So people always say, you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, this thing popped on my face like overnight. Doesn't happen that way. It actually takes an acne lesion anywhere from 3 to 6 months to form inside of the follicle. So I know, mind blown, right? So you're thinking like, oh, this just happened overnight. It actually didn't. It started as something very, very small, not even visible to the naked eye. It starts as a comedone. So when you're seeing an acne expert or a skincare professional, they're able to remove those comedones before they enlarge and turn into more of those inflammatory lesions. Because once you get like a pustule, something pussy, something that you feel like you want to squeeze, it didn't start like that. It started as something very small. When you work with a professional, if they can remove them, you're going to get clear so much faster.
I've never heard that before in my life.
Well, there you go. Mind blown.
Have you?
Well, a little bit, because TikTok is targeting me, of course.
Of course it is.
And I'm on the algorithm of a lot of the in-person treatments where they literally are kind of going through people's step, 10-step routine in the chair or on the
table.
Thank you. And I'm starting to hear about, the different things that they're telling their clients, but also I'm sitting here and it's a good point of you guys recommend so much seeing an expert, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And a lot of them are using Face Reality, the experts that I've seen. I think they know that I've been using it.
Love it.
They meaning TikTok. When you talk about this in-person care, what do you mean by that? Do I need to go see an esthetician who uses Face Reality? What do you guys recommend?
Yeah, so we, anybody who partners with us actually has to go through a pretty rigorous training process. So to even become a client of ours, so to be meaning client of ours, B2B, you actually can't just pay money and become a retailer of ours. You can't just become an account with us and then start dispensing our products. You actually have to go through an online training and pass a certification test. And the reason that we do that is because we want to ensure that whoever is dispensing our products, whoever is utilizing our clear skin method is doing it appropriately. And they have the tools and they have the education to make sure that they are assessing and addressing whatever type of acne they're seeing. So first and foremost, it would be finding a certified Face Reality acne expert, somebody who's working with us, who has partnered with us, who has access to our ongoing education. It's another thing we do really well. Tons of continuing education, not just for acne experts, but also for the consumer. We really want people to understand their skin and then drive them back to acne experts. So that would look like first finding a certified acne expert. You could find that on our website. We have a locator, so you can go and find someone in your area.
Yeah, I saw
and then
that.
Whether it's in-person treatments or even in a virtual capacity, having somebody who truly assess and analyze your skin, analyze your lifestyle, analyze your product routine. Most of the time people aren't going to say like, throw everything away and start from scratch, because we talked about this earlier. You've got thousands of dollars worth of products sitting in your bathroom. That is not only environmentally irresponsible, but it is fiscally irresponsible. But depending on the severity of your acne and where you are in your journey, we may say, hey, take a pause, stick them in the refrigerator. That's going to stabilize everything. They're not going to go bad that way. And let's try a different approach so we can get your acne under control. So we would come in, we would do obviously a full consultation and assessment. We'd also look at the lifestyle factors too, because there are so many things dietarily that can trigger breakouts. Now,
what are the big ones?
It's like the big three: dairy, sugar, gluten. Like it is. And then there's the lower hanging fruit, like the peanuts and things, but anything that's going to trigger IGF, anything that's going to trigger basically glucose, it's going to cause inflammation. So when you think about inflammation and acne, it's really, really negative aspect to the clearing journey, specifically for this. So you think about what your follicle, right? Your follicle is shaped like a teardrop. And when that teardrop is filled up with debris, so that's basically your blackhead, your pimple, your pustule. If you've got inflammation and it's basically pushing that follicle even closed, even tighter, you can put anything in the world that you want on the surface of the skin. But if that follicle is compressed, nothing's going to get into that intended target and start clearing, having that antibacterial effect or that purging effect. So we've got to reduce the inflammation. And so when we're thinking about the skin, a lot of times people are like, well, I'm doing the anti-inflammatory stuff on the surface. Well, that's great. But think of your skin as almost like a sandwich, okay? So you've got like the bottom layer of the sandwich, then you've got the meat, the lettuce, the tomato, everything. What you're putting topically is like the last piece of bread on top. Everything else is coming from the inside. So if we're, eating pizza and drinking milk and eating a bunch of sugar, but we're doing great things with the skin topically, it may work. A lot of times it does. But if it doesn't, that's when we have to take that deeper dive. We really got to go on the inside.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm at right now. And obviously doing this as my profession, like I'm very aware of what's going on in the inside. Sometimes you lose control. You go on 100%. A fun weekend, you do whatever. And my acne tells me. She's like, girl, you need to chill. So I know when to stop and not. I think it goes back to the part where you said, okay, like the topical products, like at home care. Can you talk more about your products? The way I think about skincare, I think a lot of people think about their health or how to fix their gut health. I have no idea. I've never taken the time to learn. At a point I didn't have to. I would just scrub my face and move on with my life, right?
So, only 3 years ago, one day Jenna goes, should I be using moisturizer? Yeah. And I was like,
that's how bad it is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Right.
I
was like, you don't use it? And she goes, well, sometimes at night. I was like, okay. Yes. Yeah. So sorry, continue.
Right. So I, again, clueless. So to someone like myself, very surface level, when it comes to products, so we've got working with a professional, finding them with a store locator, looking internally. And we have a lot of podcasts about looking internally. We really want to start talking like topically.
Yep.
Then we move on to the products.
Yep.
Will you start at a basic level? How do Face Reality products work?
Yeah, absolutely. So taking it back to that unique acne type, because it's not just inflamed acne. So you've got inflamed, you've got non-inflamed, you've got comedonal acne, combination, you've got fungal. So first and foremost, it's assessing what type of acne do you really actually have and not throwing the kitchen sink at it. So we are definitely more of like a low and slow approach. Think progression versus aggression. So once you understand and assess the type of acne that you have, then we figure out what is going to be the most effective for your type of acne. So we usually start people on mandelic acid. And the reason that we choose mandelic acid is because it's a very large molecule. So as we talked about earlier about inflammation, we don't want to put anything that is going to inflame the skin. So that's why, I love dermatologists. I obviously see one a lot for all kinds of different things, but oftentimes, they have very limited time to work with a client or a patient. And so they'll recommend Retin-A, which is fantastic. Like a vitamin A is fantastic for acne, but if you just start throwing Retin-A all over the face every night without titrating up or without getting your skin acclimated to it, it's going to peel, it's going to get red, it's going to get irritated, it's going to get inflamed. It's going to be like 1 step forward, 3 steps back, right? So first, by finding the right combination. So we always start at lower percentages. We usually start around about a 5% mandelic serum. We'll do about a 2.5% advanced acne meds, and that's going to be benzoyl peroxide. Now, I know benzoyl peroxide has gotten a little bit of a bad rap, but when you think about acne, there's 4 main components. There's retention hyperkeratosis, really fancy way of saying your skin is basically just making too many dead skin cells on the surface and inside of the follicle. Then you've got excess sebum production, which means too much oil. Those 2 things, the excess sebum and the excess skin cells, start to feed basically the bacteria. The bacteria love to eat dead skin cells and oil. So they start munching on it, which then stimulates an inflammatory response because the bacteria proliferate. They start to multiply, which boom, your body hits that inflammatory cascade, and then you start to have inflammatory lesions. So really what it is trying to address every stage of acne formation from the very, very beginning, retention hyperkeratosis, that's going to be your alpha hydroxy acids or your beta hydroxy acids. Sebum production, that's going to be beta, so like think salicylic acid, think things that are going to have more of a liquidifying effect, things that are going to make your sebum very thin and watery so it doesn't clog your pores or clog your follicles as much. Your antibacterial agents, so think sulfur, think benzoyl peroxide, and then anti-inflammatory ingredients. So anything calming, soothing. So we have very, very specific corrective ingredients as well as supportive ingredients. Because the thing is, it's kind of like going to the gym. I use this analogy. You go to the gym, imagine that you go to the gym and you work on your biceps, just your biceps, every day, 7 days a week for 3 months. You're actually not going to get any gains because you haven't let your muscles rest, repair, and regenerate. You haven't given them what they need to actually build thicker, denser, stronger. The skin is really similar to muscle tissue. It's dynamic. So you can break it down with your acids, your vitamin A's, and things like that, but you have to give it the ingredients and the time to build back up thicker, denser, stronger, and more resilient. The thing that people often forget about acne too is that it is a disease state. Having acne doesn't mean you're diseased, but acne in itself is a disease state. So we need to look at it that way and get it to its non-disease state, which is reduction of inflammation, reduction of bacteria, and in a perfect world, clear.
If someone's not able to go see an in-house professional,
Absolutely.
how do they start?
Yeah. Research. Now, you got to be careful because as you were saying earlier, there's a lot of people who are experts who are kind of like paid promotional models, right? Who get paid a lot of money to say a lot of different things. I love this. I was just at a seminar the other day and this lovely individual was talking about this water filter. Oh, you just put this water filter on your faucet and it's going to like totally clear your acne. And of course I'm like, why are you lying to these people?
Right.
So not the truth. So research, like reputable sources, whether it's our website or finding someone that you could even do like a consultation with. And a lot of times people will offer, and I always say like, you know, you can get a lot of things for free if you try. There are a lot of skincare providers that will do complimentary consultations or have websites that have a ton of information. So if you don't have the resources or the ability to go see somebody in office, do your research. Really find out, 1, what type of acne do you have? 2, what are the best ingredients to treat your specific type of acne? And 3, get the right products and solutions. Of course, I would love it if it was Face Reality products, but if it wasn't even Face Reality products, look at the ingredient makeup. Look at the right ingredients, both performance ingredients, structural, functional ingredients, and supportive ingredients to help facilitate that clearing journey. You can do it yourself. It's not as easy, but you can do it yourself.
Understanding if it's topical or internal, do you always address it as topical first? And if it doesn't cure, then you kind of defer to internal?
That's the way that we do it because look, we've been doing this for a long time and I've even been doing it longer. So as someone who is specialized in acne, if you were to come into my treatment room and I was to say, okay, not only am I going to change up your whole skincare routine, but I'm going to have you eliminate dairy and this and that. And you know, so many people who have acne are younger. Right. So you're asking them to do a complete about face, not just topically, but internally. They're overwhelmed. They feel like they have to do all or nothing. And if they deviate even a little bit from the plan, that's like instant failure, which we know it's not. So my approach and our approach at Face Reality is, look, we would love for people to make all of those modifications and right out of the gate. It's never going to happen. So let's start with the topical. At that 6 to 8 week mark, if we're not seeing the clearing journey happen as quickly as we'd like, and we have titrated up to stronger percentages of ingredients so that we are addressing the acne maybe a little stronger topically, and we're still not getting people over the hump, then we take that internal deep dive like, hey, you might have a peanut sensitivity. And again, as acne experts and estheticians, we cannot dispense nutritional advice. We can't tell people, we can't give them a nutritional plan, but what we can say is things anecdotally like, hey, I had this client, they had very similar acne as you, they eliminated X, Y, and Z, and they did see a reduction in their acne severity or a expedited clearing process. I'm not going to tell you to eliminate that, but if your clearing journey is like top of mind and that's obviously what you're sitting on my table hoping to achieve, let's try to do these small modifications. And I usually don't do all at once because then we never really know what the culprit is. If I'm like, okay, eliminate all sugar, eliminate all dairy, eliminate peanuts, all of these things, don't eat soy, then what is the trigger? And then this person thinks they can never have those things again. And look, I'm an acne expert, I'm an esthetician, and I had like a bag of peanut M&Ms yesterday on the plane because I'm also a human being that sometimes I'm going to have sugar, sometimes I'm going to have a glass of wine, sometimes I'm going to eat soy. And I know that if it, like you were talking about earlier, if it triggers my breakouts, okay, that was the notice. Like I know what I just did and I'm going to reel it back and obviously not eat a bag of peanut M&Ms every single day of my life.
Yeah.
Right. If someone has done the internal work, let's say, like, again, we can use me as an example.
Love this.
Big 3, taking out or decreasing intake as well as peanuts, because I was going crazy with peanut butter. Just my favorite.
Me too.
Where do we start? First 3 products or first 3 steps topically. I have the full skincare routine. Like you said, I have the Mandelic, I have the Acne, I have the 2 major face washes, which I'd love you to talk quickly about them too. And then I have the
benzo
serum. Is the benzo peroxide the acne?
Advanced acne meds.
Yeah, so I have that. And I also have the cleansing, the gel for the
Ultra Gentle Gel Cleanser. Yes.
wait, what's the serum?
It's like a hydration gel.
Oh, the Hydro Remedy Gel Serum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we love her.
And then I have the lotion.
You got it all.
I have it all.
You have
Thank
it
you.
all. Yes. You are like the poster child for face reality.
Right. Where do I start with that? Help me with my skincare routine, please, because I have these products and now I'm like, how the hell do I apply them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if we were talking to your listeners who were like 3 steps, okay, because the other thing is like, if somebody comes into my treatment room and they're like, I barely wash my face at night, and I give them a 12-step skincare routine, they're going to run. Or they might feel like they're bullied into buying all the products, and then they're still going to run. They're not going to use any. They're going to think I suck. They're going to think face reality sucks. That's not what we want. So if it was just bare bones basic, I would say cleanser obviously is hugely important. You've got to get any of the dirt, makeup, debris, structural lipids off of the skin. Some sort of a treatment serum, so like your mandelic acid serum. And then at nighttime, it would be your advanced acne meds, okay? Daytime, it would be cleanse. Even if you couldn't cleanse your skin, even just a good like lukewarm or tepid water rinse and then sunscreen. I mean, we're keeping it like bare bones minimum. Now with your routine, you want to, obviously you've got
Let's get into
everything.
it. Yeah.
It's always, the old school sort of thinking was thinnest to thickest, but that doesn't really apply anymore. So you want to think about, where is this product supposed to go? Where is its intended target? So sunscreen is supposed to stay on the surface. Moisturizer, same. It's not actually supposed to penetrate beyond a little bit transepidermally. Think of that as like the brick and mortar. It's sort of turning into a little bit of the mortar, sort of sticking to the skin cells on the surface. But an acid, for example, like salicylic acid, that is intended to go into the pore, into the follicle, if you will. So you're going to want to apply that acid first after you cleanse and tone your skin. You're going to want to wait a few minutes, because if you immediately apply your hydrating serum or you immediately apply a moisturizer, it could potentially block the penetration of that molecule from getting into its intended target. So you want to go acids first.
Okay, this is post-washing face.
Post-cleansing and toning.
Are we double cleansing?
Not necessary in the morning.
Okay.
Nighttime.
We're on morning.
Yep. Morning, it'd be cleanse. In a perfect world, antioxidant serum. That'd be great. Okay. Actually, let me back up. Cleanse.
Okay.
Acid, whether it's mandelic, glycolic, salicylic, tartaric.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Acid first. Okay. Then you'd go antioxidant serum. If you're going big guns, hydrating serum.
Okay.
Give it a couple minutes. Moisturizer. You could even do a moisturizer sunscreen combo. Moisturizer, sunscreen.
Can you explain what the purpose of a toner is?
I get this all the time. Old school toners were like to balance the pH of the skin, because products weren't pH balanced. Well, fortunately, formulations have gotten so much better. Well, who would not put something that was supposed to be balanced on the skin? So now they have gotten a little bit more sophisticated. So they come in 2 forms. That I would say one would be a performance toner and one would be more of a hydrating toner. So performance toners are going to usually work as like a degreaser, and they're going to have some exfoliating properties to them. So for example, we have the Sal C toner. That's got salicylic acid and vitamin C. So we use that as a prep. So if someone's got really oily skin and we're trying to get that mandelic acid or that glycolic serum into the skin, there's a layer of sebum or a layer of oil. It's going to have a really hard time getting through that. So you would use that toner as, think of it as like a degreaser or a performance toner. It can also boost the efficacy of some of your anti-aging products because the more we can remove those structural lipids and get a little bit of surface exfoliation, the more effective some of your more sophisticated molecules like your vitamin A or glycolic are going to be able to penetrate and work more effectively, peptides, things like that. Then you have your moisturizing toners or your hydrating toners. And those are basically intended to just hydrate the skin. So think of like water, oil. They don't mix, right? So when you have water on your skin, it does two things. One, water is both a performance and a functional ingredient. So when the skin is wet, any of the molecules that you're applying next or the ingredients you're applying next literally piggyback. They like jump on the back of the water, and the water, because the skin is hydrophilic, skin loves water. It's basically going to suck it even deeper into the skin. So it actually makes your products work more effectively. Then when you think basic science, right? Oil and water don't mix. If you've got water on your skin, hydration on your skin, then you put an occlusive over the top of it, obviously an acne safe occlusive, but you put something on top of it to occlude, that water can't go anywhere. It can't evaporate out of the skin or get pulled out of the tissue through hygroscopy. Basically just soaks up into the outer layers of skin, keeping your skin obviously super hydrated, really well lubricated, and you actually start secreting less oil because a lot of times people will strip too much oil off of their skin and the skin will start to overproduce it to compensate what it's perceiving as a lack of oil. And we don't want to do that because usually that emergency oil gets very sticky, very thick, very waxy. It leads to more pore clogging.
That's absolutely what has happened to me, I think. I think because people like to say less is more with skincare, I think. I've done more is less. I mean, I think I'm actually at that point right now, which is why I want to jump back into how to do this skincare routine, because sometimes I just feel like you got to get rid of all the oil. Like that was my philosophy. You're like cringing right now.
I'm a little cringy. If you guys could see my face, I'm slightly cringe.
Right. Okay. This is helping me though, because it's really helping me build a routine. So we had the morning, going back to the morning routine. We have the Barrier Balance Creamy Cleanser. That's what I have morning. And then you said to go in with a acid.
Yes. So yes. So you'd probably barrier balance creamy cleanser or ultra gentle gel cleanser.
Okay.
If you're more oily, I would probably say ultra gentle gel cleanser would be a better option.
Do I look oily? I think I'm oily.
I mean, I'd have to see you without makeup. You look so beautiful. Your skin looks amazing right now. But if you have active acne, you can be acneic and dry at the same time, but it's not normally. Usually what's happening is you've got too many skin cells stuck on the surface and the oil actually can't wick out of the follicle and onto the surface of the skin. So you'll feel dry, but true acneic can't actually be dry and like acneic at the same time. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, because that one, again, oil is one of the biggest components. So ultra gentle gel cleanser, you could even do mandelic acid cleanser, something that you don't want anything stripping, but something that's just going to remove a little bit more of the lipids from the skin. Barrier Balance Creamy Cleanser has a little bit more emulsion to it. It's got a little bit more, it leaves a bit of a slip on the skin. It's great. It's got inulin, it's got prebiotics. It's great for helping to balance that skin flora, the skin microbiome. But if you're using an acid or something that you want to have more as more of performance product, you probably want to use the Ultra Gentle Gel Cleanser. Then I would go in with your mandelic acid serum. Then I would go in with an antioxidant peptide serum. You want to wait a little bit in between because again, if you just start layering and layering and layering, you could potentially block some of the active ingredients from getting into the skin. So I'd put your mandelic acid serum on or whatever acid you're using. Give it a minute or two, go brush your teeth, fill up your tea, do your coffee, whatever. Come back, spritz with a little bit of toner. Put some antioxidant peptide serum on.
Because the water from the toner is helping it get in.
Exactly. And you have to use less products. So products are not cheap. Even our products, I mean, they're not, fortunately, we're a really, really accessible price point, but no products are cheap. And I hate to break your hearts, but about 40 to 60% of anything you put on your skin evaporates. It does. So I would rather have water, really inexpensive toner evaporate than like my really lovely antioxidant serum. So antioxidant serum on a little bit of wet skin, blend it in, give it a light little press, give it another minute or two, spritz again. Put your hydrating serum on. Give it another like 20, 30 seconds. This is going to sound crazy, but trust me, spritz again.
Okay.
Then put your moisturizer on. You're going to feel a little like sticky, gooey, tacky. Now this is for hydration. Now people, if you don't want to layer, like this is what I call hydra stacking, where we're getting those layers of moisture product. So we're just trapping that water in the skin. One, your skin's going to perform better. It's also going to feel better, and you're going to have that beautiful, juicy, like glow up without looking oily.
Is that why we don't have it? We've never hydra stacked before.
Oh.
Try the Hydra Stack.
Never.
Game
This
changer.
is going to change my life.
And you're going to use way less product too. Way less product. You won't feel sticky. You won't feel tacky. You will right out of the gate. Like give it a minute or two, but then you'll put your, whatever, if you use makeup, CC cream, anything like that, tinted sunscreen, it's going to go right on the skin. Wow. Yeah.
So that's morning.
That's morning.
Okay.
Nighttime depends. Again, all this is depending on the skin. So your listeners, I don't want you to think that this is like a blanketed
This is
approach.
not Bible,
to skincare,
right, of
but
course.
for your specific skin type, cleanse, double cleanse at night for sure.
Okay.
I thought that all cleansers were treated equal. Like everyone online, everyone on TikTok says, don't spend your money on cleansers because all it is going straight into the sink. It's just wiping right off the sink. And then I was talking to my best friend who is a brand loyalist of Face Reality, which was so shocking to me because she's just not like that. She sent me a voice note that was like 2 minutes long, just professing her life for Face Reality. And she goes, Jill, I thought all cleansers were the same. She goes, nope. I double cleanse with Face Reality and it's changed my life. She's like, I left mine at the hotel and I was on the airplane ordering more because I'm so obsessed. Why are all face washes not created equal?
Well, first of all, Jill, if your best friend wants a job, please tell her to come and find me because I would hire her in like 16 seconds.
She convinced me. I was
like,
like,
literally. And like you're convincing me. So obviously she's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's dispel the myth. Okay. No, not all cleansers are created equally. And do I think that you need to spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on cleansers? No. There is some truth to what they're saying. It's like, yeah, you're using it and then you're rinsing it down the sink, but it still has to perform. It's still doing something, right? This is a functional product. So whether it is trying to remove dirt, makeup, oil, debris, whether it has enough surfactants or detergents or emollients in it, like they're performing very differently. So when you think of a first cleanse, especially like us, we're all wearing makeup right now, right? I also have tinted sunscreen on. So you need something that's literally going to break apart the binding that makeup has now created on your skin. Because what happens is your sebum and like the makeup and all that stuff basically starts to create almost like glue, right? And so a foaming cleanser doesn't have the ability, because it doesn't have the same, let's just keep it simple and say like makeup, to really liquidify that. So the first cleanse is literally, think about it, it's like breaking apart the makeup, the tinted sunscreen, you're rinsing it away. And then the second cleanse is coming in and actually removing dirt, any kind of, it's removing dirt, it's removing any structural lipids on the skin. It's doing that job of removing anything that was left behind, if you will, from your more creamy cleansers. So you can do a double cleanse with 2 gel cleansers. It's not really my favorite. I prefer a creamy cleanser because that's gonna, like I said, really break apart anything that's on the surface of the skin. Then you come back over with your foaming cleanser, something that has a little bit more of those surfactants, things that are gonna create more of a foam, so that's really getting that, hey, I say degreasing effect, but that degreasing effect, and that's going to prep your skin for whatever else you're going to put on next.
Okay, so not all cleansers are created equal.
They're not created, and some of them have actually performance ingredients. So like we talked about with toners, not all cleansers are performance cleansers. So if a cleanser has, let's say like mandelic acid or glycolic or benzoyl peroxide, for example, like we've seen time and time again in our clinic where people are just like not quite getting over that hump, and we've added in an antibacterial cleanser or acne wash. You know, it doesn't have a ton of antibacterial effects, but remember, benzoyl peroxide kills bacteria like on contact. It will get into the follicle within like 3 to 5 seconds and start to kill bacteria. So if you're using it, a lot of times we'll tell people too, in the shower, leave it on for a minute or two, kind of like as a cleansing mask. Leave it on for a minute or two so you're getting that additional antibacterial effect, and then rinse it off. And then that way you're just getting then you're having that performance element. So no, whoever says that all cleansers are the same, they're lying to you.
Okay.
They're lying to you.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and say one's more superior than the other. You have to go by whose skin am I talking about? Because again, Jenna's skin is gonna look different than Jill's skin. It's gonna look different than Stephanie's skin.
Okay, so then back to Jenna's nightly routine.
Love it.
She double cleanses.
Yep, double cleanse.
And then
Depends. So if depending on is your acne, Jen, is it more inflamed? Do you have like is it more textural? Do you get pustules, pimples, things
all
like
of
that?
the above.
All of the above. So you have very classic combination acne.
Yep.
So depending on where she was in her journey, if she had titrated up to using an exfoliating serum both morning and night, she would cleanse her skin. She would tone, probably maybe with a performance toner. Okay. If your skin could tolerate it, I would love to throw a little maybe Salsi toner on there.
Okay.
Then we would go in with her exfoliating serum, whether it be a mandelic serum, glycolic serum, just depends on where she was, but it'll probably be a mandelic serum, maybe like an 8%. We'd give it a minute or two to dry. Then we'd go with our advanced acne meds, either a 2.5% or a 5%. Rarely do we ever use the 10%. That's usually if just somebody has really severe, like grade 4 acne. And then give it a couple minutes. You don't have to give it a couple minutes before you put your moisturizer on. I just like to.
Okay.
It's conceptually, I know, I just like it to absorb in a little bit. Moisturizer, eye cream.
With the acne med, am I putting it on each spot, or am I fully baking it into my skin?
All over treatment. If you don't break out everywhere, you don't need to put it everywhere.
Okay.
So do some skin mapping. So let's say hypothetically, if you only break out on your forehead or in your T-zone, but your cheeks are drier, that's very combination skin. I wouldn't put it on your cheeks because it's just going to dry them out. It's unnecessary. So you can get a little bit more zone specific, if you will. But if you do have acne, primarily in all of the 4 or 5 zones of your face, I would say apply it everywhere. Just a teeny tiny thin layer. And an unknown, often underutilized trick is also icing. I cannot tell you how impactful icing the skin prior to putting benzoyl peroxide on is hugely important. We talked about this before. Remember, we talked about like your pore. A lot of people, we refer to as a pore. We say follicle in skin science, shaped like a teardrop. So when the skin is inflamed, the blood is basically compressing the opening of that follicle. Benzoyl peroxide is supposed to work at the bottom. So think about it. It's supposed to work in the bulb of the teardrop. So in order for it to get from the surface of the skin down into that bulb and kill off the bacteria, it has to travel through what's called the follicular channel. If the blood is compressing that follicular channel, it's not going to be able to get in there. So think about this. If you ice the skin, not for very long, 1 to 2 minutes directly on the skin with an ice cube, the body's very sophisticated and it's like, oh no, we're going to freeze. We've got to pull all the blood away from the skin, push it back to internal organs so we don't die of hypothermia. So temporarily, the blood will it will cause vasoconstriction, which means your body will pull the blood away from the surface, temporarily opening or dilating the follicle opening, allowing the benzoyl peroxide to get in there. Then the skin is not cold anymore. The blood will come back to the surface, but it doesn't matter. Benzoyl peroxide is already in there. So I tell anybody and everybody who will listen, icing is one of the most underutilized tools, and it's totally free. Now, don't do it for too long. You can freeze the tissue. This is not one of those more is more, okay?
Okay.
This is one of those less is more.
Noted.
No more than 1 to 2 minutes. And then if somebody has really severe acne or even is just having like an active breakout, apply the advanced acne meds, take an ice pack, not ice directly on the skin, take an ice pack, hold it on there for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, take it off because again, you're keeping the blood away from the surface. You're allowing that benzoyl peroxide to really get in there and kill that bacteria. Remove the ice pack, skin cools down, warms up, put your moisturizer on, you're good to go.
Wow.
Game changer.
I've never heard that before.
I know. It's so underutilized. It's heartbreaking to me because I cannot tell you how many people incorporate this. You can use the ice rollers and stuff too. The only problem with the ice rollers, they don't stay as cold as ice because they warm up from your own skin where the ice won't. It just melts. And you will get oh God, this is really wet and drippy. Trust me, just be wet and drippy. Just dab your skin. You actually want it to be a little bit damp when you put your benzoyl peroxide on. Stick your benzoyl peroxide on, either ice it again with an ice pack if you've got active acne. Stick your moisturizer on, you're done.
What do you see are the biggest mistakes people are making with their skin? Not necessarily related to Face Reality products, just in general.
Picking.
That's awesome.
I know.
I have the quadruple whammy when it comes to my skin.
Do you think that's the biggest mistake people are making?
Well, not using sunscreen. That would probably be my big, of course, I'm an esthetician. So the biggest mistake, not using sunscreen. Okay. Second biggest mistake, picking their skin. Third biggest mistake, thinking that, social media are skincare experts, right? But sunscreen's a big one because 99.9% of actual manifestations of physical aging are caused from ultraviolet light. So think about it. If you started wearing sunscreen from the time you were born, which nobody does, right? But you are going to reduce potentially up to 80 to 90% of the physical manifestations of aging. When you also think about acne too, acne is by nature an inflammatory skin condition. The second ultraviolet light hits the skin, it starts to produce free radicals in the epidermis. Those free radicals cause an inflammatory response. So even with acne, pigmentation, all of it, sunscreen is a big one. Secondarily, with acne, it's picking. It is one of the biggest challenges that I see. My clients, I would put them on a quit the pick campaign where I would bring people in because so oftentimes I'm like, look, yes, you have acne, but I can tell when someone has like gouged their skin. I can literally see it. Nail marks, pigmentary irregularities. And I would put them on a quit the pick campaign where I used to have these branded cute little night lights. Maybe you guys should get one of those, like brand your own little night lights. I would say wash your skin at night with the light off, with a nightlight, because most people pick their face at night. They don't usually pick it in the morning. She's nodding, Jenna's nodding. Keep your fingers almost painfully short. If you rock some stiletto nails, get rid of them. If you can't actually pick it, if you have no nails, you can't actually pick it, you're not going to abrade the skin. If you ever pick a lesion, you have a scab afterwards, it's because you've actually ripped off the top layer of skin.
Yeah.
That is a big no-no. If you do it properly, it should literally be like one little dot on the opening of the follicle. So I would tell my clients, wash your face with the light off, ice your skin, don't pick. And in 2 weeks, if you come back to me and you don't see a drastic reduction in your pigmentation and in your acne, I said, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'll give you your money back. Never happened, not once. Everybody saw a drastic difference. Because the problem is, Jenna, is like the skin grows differently. So the follicles on your cheek are growing this way. The follicles on your forehead are growing this way. And also the skin is only the thickness of a tissue. So when you extract, the probability is that you are abrading the skin, you're rupturing that follicle, it's spreading to kind of the underlying layers of skin, it's causing an inflammatory response, it's causing bacteria. Have you ever popped a pimple and like 2 days later you get one right next to it and one right on top of it?
Probably happening right now.
There you go, right? And that's because exactly that. You've probably spread the bacteria and now you're causing like a localized infection. So if anyone's listening who has acne and who likes to try to do their own home extractions, don't do it. Don't get the tools. Don't go on Amazon and buy the extractor tools. And the one caveat is if it is like a big Mount Vesuvius thing on your face, I always say this, if there's a whole bunch of red and a little bit of white, that's telling you the body is in the very early stages of healing. Leave it alone. Try the ice technique, try the benzoyl peroxide, leave it alone. You're not going to get it out. It's like pushing it's like pushing a beach ball through a pinhole. It's not going to come out. Now, if it's really, really white and it's kind of pillared like that, that's because your body has gone like this. It's literally compressed the follicle because it's trying to express the lesion. So if it's like kind of poking up a little bit and it's really, really white, just a little bit of red, if you're very careful, fingers wrapped in tissue, just kind of a down and up motion, it comes just pops right out and you see a little bit of what's called pinpoint bleeding, you're good. But that is an exception, not the rule. That's only you're not going to walk out of the house with this giant thing on your face. But again, try as best as you can to leave it alone.
Okay. How do you feel about pimple patches?
I love them.
Great.
I think they're great. Now, you got to be careful with them though, because if you're using acids and you're using benzoyl peroxide and things like that and retinoids, and then you go put a pimple patch that has a salicylic acid and it's literally a concentrated salicylic and it's sitting there for 12, 14, 24 hours, it's going to cause a chemical burn. So now you're inducing inflammation, you're inducing pigmentation. So I like the ones that are more hydrocolloidal, that have the little mini darts. They work as more of a drainer than they actually do a treatment patch. Okay. But I mean, I'm a big fan, but don't wear them indefinitely. Wear them for 4 to 6 hours.
Not as a style statement.
No. Okay. I mean, if you want to rock it instead of rocking a whitehead, I totally get that. But be careful which ones you choose. And I think people often make the mistake with the pimple patches of higher percentages of acids in their pimple patch is going to work better. If they're using a lot of actives and things on their skin, it could cause a lot of irritation. It could cause pigmentation and also if it ruptures underneath and then basically that bacteria is sitting underneath the pimple patch, it could infect the surrounding follicles too.
Okay, so just be careful when using.
Just be careful.
Okay.
When in doubt, patch versus pick.
Okay.
Definitely.
Fair enough. One last selfish question. How do you feel about micellar water just to get the initial makeup off your face?
Outside of Face Reality, my friends at Face Reality would kill me if I said I love it, but I love it.
Right.
I do.
Okay.
I love it.
Because I see a lot around micellar water that is it's bad, it's good. But for me personally, I love to just use it to take off my mascara because face washes always burn my eyes.
100%. Yeah.
But you're good with that.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I will say, Barry Brown's Creamy Cleanser, I'm very sensitive eyes. That's why I actually do the lash extensions because I'm I can barely even wear mascara anymore without my eyes just freaking out. before I got the lash extensions, this is a new enhancement. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I would actually use the Barrier Balance Creamy Cleanser, and I kid you not, try it.
Okay,
It was the only cleanser that would actually liquidify my mascara, and it did not irritate my eyes at all.
I'll give it a whirl.
I could actually use it as an eye makeup remover.
I was going to say I do it to remove everything, and I don't have irritation.
I have no irritation.
Yeah, no.
Now that's going to be case by case, obviously. And if you are using, I have found that because of there's a certain chemical in lash serums. I don't know if it's prostaglandin or something that we have found that certain people, if they're using lash enhancing serums, do have sensitivity to cleansers around the eyes. Also with lash extensions, if they're using cleansers around the eyes, something about the chemical interaction. I'm not a cosmetic chemist. I don't know, but they can have sensitivity. So just for people who are listening to that, be mindful.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. There's so much enlightenment coming from here today.
Talk to you ladies.
Yeah.
No,
this
is amazing.
So fun.
When it comes to products, are there any products girls with acne or people with acne should completely avoid?
I mean, really heavy moisturizers, heavy occlusives. So
what's an occlusive?
Something that's going to basically occlude the skin.
Okay.
So
Like
it's not going
close
to, it's not going to allow any, so think about this. It's not going to allow anything in, and it's not going to allow anything out.
Okay.
So basically an occlusive is trying to trap moisture into the skin.
Okay.
So what you really need to look at, I think with acne, people always demonize oil. They're like, oh, if I've got acne, like I could never use oils. That's not the case. You just have to find the right oils. So think about it like this. If I wanted you to be able to breathe right now, Jenna, and I went and I took like a piece of gauze and I laid it over your face, would you still be able to breathe?
Not as well.
Yeah, but you still would, right?
Sure.
Because it's breathable.
Yes.
Now, if I took this pillow and I stuck it over your face, would you be able to breathe?
No.
No, not at all. So think about that when you're thinking about oils. So the lighter the oil, meaning that it is a smaller oil, or excuse me, a lighter molecular weight, it's going to be that gauze. It's going to be more breathable. So it's going to still occlude, but it's going to allow oxygen in and out of the skin. So remember with acne, one of the biggest components is bacteria. Now the C. acnes bacteria, that's the bacteria that causes acne, it's anaerobic. And what that means is it can't live in a very oxygen-rich environment. So that's why when you use the pillow-sized oil, use a big, heavy occlusive, we're not allowing oxygen into the skin as effectively, and is contributing to the C. acnes bacteria multiplying and proliferating. So it's not what oil, it's not all oils that are bad, I hate to say bad, that we don't like in acne. It's just the heavier ones, things like shea, things like coconut, because again, just molecular weight,
Castor
they're
oil?
huge. Depends on the type, depends on the weight, depends on the formulation. You always want to look for too, is it an oil in water formulation or is it water in oil? If it's an oil in water, that means it's going to formulation going to be mostly water with oil droplets suspended in it. So it's going to be very hydrating. It's going to feel very lightweight. It's going to still be breathable. If it's a water in oil emulsion or moisturizer, it's going to be mostly oil with a little bit of water, because all products have to take, well, not all products, moisturizers have to contain water because they have to have spreadability. Like most products contain water because they have to spread. It's what gives them the ability to move. When you have something anhydrous like a petrolatum, that's why if you put like Vaseline on your skin, it's like really hard to get it into the skin because it doesn't have anything that's helping with spreadability. So the only thing would be like a big no-no in my book would be really high percentages of acids while people are clearing. Once someone's clear and they've been clear for like 3 to 6 months, because like we talked about earlier, 3 to 6 months for a lesion to form. So I like to say that somebody is clear once they are 3 to 6 months where they have not had, look, occasional breakout here and there's one thing, but they're mostly negligible acne. Like I couldn't even count them on one hand. Then you can get a little bit more fancy and sophisticated, try some of the higher percentages, but remember acne is an inflammatory skin condition. So we don't want to go throw the kitchen sink at it with like super strong, like vitamin A or glycolics or deeper peels or microneedling or any of those things until the skin has gotten clear and stayed clear.
Got it. What do you do to avoid getting really dry and affecting the skin barrier when treating acne? Is it hydrostacking? What are the tips there?
All that. Hydrostacking, low and slow with your acids and this more of a progressive approach. So that's why when we, like in our clinic, so we're very fortunate as a skincare company. We actually started as a clinic. We still have, it's part of my org. We actually have a full functioning operating clinic where we still see clients. And we also use it as a research and development center. So we test new protocols. We're basically basically taking all those key learnings from working directly with clients to then go share out with our acne experts. So truly our acne experts are the best of the best in the industry when it comes to understanding, obviously from skincare professionals, when it comes to understanding how to clear acne from a topical approach. Now, obviously you've got your medical professionals or your healthcare providers who are going to be able to address both topical and internal. But when you talk about like our SD breed, they are the best of the best of the best. And so everyone that we see in our clinic, we actually do a serum sensitivity test first to actually test to see what is their tolerance to that serum. Because if we just walk in and we're like, okay, Jenna, you're prone to breakouts. I'm going to give you an 11% mandelic, and that inflames your skin and dries you out, then you're going to overproduce oil. You're going to have adverse side effects, which are probability is you're going to stop using those products. If people have adverse side effects, dryness, flaking, irritation, redness, purging, they're going to stop using the products. And then face reality doesn't work. Your advice doesn't work. You're never going to come and see me again. And then you're going to be suffering in silence. So we go very low and slow and gradual. We can always titrate up. It's really hard to titrate down.
Yeah.
Right? We can always strengthen the actives, but it's really hard to lower them once we've caused an adverse reaction because we've lost client trust at that point. Yeah. So how we mitigate it, start slow. And then we always, always, always incorporate those soothing, hydrating, supportive ingredients. You can throw all the corrective ingredients you want, but if you're not putting supportive ingredients in, exact thing that we're trying to mitigate, irritation, redness, dryness, because acne is already irritated. Yeah. It already is oftentimes really flaky. It can be very, very painful. We want the best of both worlds. We want to control and clear the acne while also helping to restore skin health. That's the goal. Restore skin health. Do not damage the barrier. Get the skin back into a homeostatic state.
Wow. Yeah. I love that.
I know. I'm sitting here and I'm like, we have so many more questions.
And we're almost,
we're going to
I'm going to be in Austin in like 2 months. We can totally do a part two, ladies.
Okay.
That's intense.
That's
love
amazing.
We like to end when we can with our guests, just giving like a wellness tip that they have that for their own lives that they think work really well. Do you have one, maybe skin related, that you're obsessed with? You gave so many hacks. I don't know how you could add to it. But do you have anything?
Goodness. Like personal or that I would recommend to clients?
No, like
what's worked for you?
What's working for you?
Yeah.
Like what's a thing you're obsessed with?
Obsessed with LED.
Really?
Absolutely obsessed.
Red light?
LED. Well, combination. So LED, it's not just red or blue, or it's a lot more complex than that. Okay. But I'm very fortunate that I have access to a lot of really fun devices and things. Yeah. So I love red LED light. So I have a professional panel, but even some of the use at home mask panels can be phenomenal because it's a great way of reducing inflammation. It also stimulates the cell in the skin that produces collagen and elastin, which is our youth protein. So it stimulates the fibroblasts to produce new connective tissue. And by nature, our connective tissue regrowth slows down every year. Sorry, ladies, after the age of 20, we start to produce less and less, about 1% less per year. So if we're stimulating our body to grow its own connective tissue, we're just going to have that youthful glow as well as that structural lift in our skin, hopefully for a lot longer.
I love it.
Is there a specific tool that you use the most, or?
I use the Soluma, but again, I'm in the industry. I got my panel for free. But I'm going to give them a shameless plug. They are awesome. I've also, a lot of our acne experts recommend Omnilux.
Oh, I think that's the one I have.
Yeah, they love it. And because it's more universal, winning.
Yeah.
Like winning. It's a great tool.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Panel. Okay, cool.
I would be a little bit like reluctant to go with so this is one of those areas that candidly, like the cheaper device, the less effective it's going to be. So it's all about, with LED, it's about like the cycles of light. It's about making sure that you're getting both the red and the other spectrums of light in there. It's a very complex science behind how LED works. So I'm not saying you need to go get the $5,000 panel, but don't go get the $20 one at CVS. It's not going to be the business. Yeah,
like good to know.
Get a good quality panel, one that also has like a warranty, 2 years. So if something happens, they'll replace it. But a lot of people like the Omnilux because they can go do other things. It's not like that. The panel I have to lay there underneath it, but it's actually great for me because then I get to just like chill out, listen to a meditation podcast, like relax. It's actually forces me to just sit down for 20, 30 minutes and not do anything. But yeah, Omnilux is great. So if you've already got it, start using it.
Amazing.
Yeah, at least 20 minutes. And it's not one of those things, you can't really overdo it.
Yeah.
You could like sleep in an LED bed for 8 hours. I heard old school Madonna used to basically, she took the light bulbs out of a tanning bed and had them put LED bulbs in there, and she would sleep in there. And
She's
I don't
brilliant.
know, that woman like is a vampire. Like she is
I
aging
love
like a
that
fine wine.
so much,
So I mean, obviously I'm not going to go get a bed and sleep in it every night, but I can definitely put my face in it.
I love it. You have changed the game today for us. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, this is so fun.
I'm so excited for my new routine.
Oh, I'm so excited too. So we'll definitely have to talk offline.
yeah.
Send me, because like we said, it's not a one and done. So I want to see like the percentages of everything you're using, and for your listeners, like if you are acneic, find an acne expert. They know what they're doing. They will help you, even if it's virtual. If you can't get in for treatments, like they will steer you in the right direction.
Cool.
Amazing.
You hear that, girls? Listen to her.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We don't exclude.
No, anyone can join in.
Anybody can join in, absolutely. And also check out our website. We've got a lot of free education too.
Cool. Yeah, we'll link it.
Steer them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yay,
Thank you. That was
So
amazing.
wonderful. Thanks, ladies.
Yay.